Welcome in. This is your Chiefs pregame show. This is Kingdom Kickoff. We're here to preview the Chiefs and Jaguars game coming up here at noon. I'm Noah Groniger, as always, being joined by Mr. Clint Schweitzer himself. And we have our good friends, our good buddies, Shaggy Shane Williams from Shaggy Shane Entertainment. You can find him on YouTube. Our guy up early out in Hollywood, California, the Money Badger, Michael Matthew from TGN, The Good News. And we've got our guy from Hot 103 Jams, Brian B. Shining down there. And the man of the hour, it's always the man of the hour. It's always his time. Former Kansas City Chiefs offensive lineman, Rich Baldinger.
In the jail cell.
Wow.
Right now,
yes.
guys. Good to join you this morning, men. Good to join you all the way to start off.
Rich, are we going to at some point get you a Chiefs banner? Can we get you something for that wall?
Well, I guess maybe we should. It's something to liven up today, but the Chiefs will do that for me. And I feel like today they found a way last week to get it done. As long as number 15 is running around, I think the world's got a chance. The world's got a chance to survive. So I look for another special Sunday afternoon from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. How about we get Rich one of those Chiefs jerseys from today? Why? Because they're wearing a special commemorative patch for Derek Thomas's father, who passed away 50 years ago today in battle. So, and you know, DT with the flyovers, that was a big deal for him. As one game he wore the one with the airplane silhouette, the yellow bandana. You might recall it. Some might not. Do your research, you'll see it. But anywho, they'll be wearing a special patch today, I believe, on the right side of the jersey. So the juices are going to be flowing, and of course, we gotta show love to our veterans and everybody in the military and all walks of life. We thank you for your sacrifices that you have made so that we can live the way that we do. The juices are going to be flowing at Arrowhead today, baby.
Amen.
The one problem with that, Brian, is that we are, in fact, at home. And let's take a look at this. Our average margin of victory at Arrowhead Stadium this year, a mere 2.3 points per game, while on the road, the Chiefs are averaging 22.1 points per game in victories. So, Rich, as we look at this, I've been talking about it all year. Do you feel like that there's something different, something about Arrowhead Stadium that's causing this team to maybe press, play a little, with less focus? I mean, we've seen this team go on the road and just light it up, but at home, it's been a different story. You think about the close wins against teams like the Raiders last week. You got to go to overtime and beat the Titans. So is there something about Arrowhead that's making this team, kind of play more close to the vest here?
I just think the fans need to get a little louder on Sunday. I don't think the fans are quite loud enough yet.
It's the fans' fault. Yeah.
I think listen, they played some tough opponents at home. The Titans are going to be there at the end. I really don't want to see the Titans again this year because of what they represent and what they can do to us and everything. So it's been, listen, this team just has to understand that every weekend, whether at home or on the road, it's going to be a tough outing. They've got the bullseye on their back. They're the best in the National Football League right now, and everyone's going to bring their best game. So some people have been able to do some things there at Arrowhead Stadium, but you listen, Patrick Mahomes, as I said, finds a way. The guy is resilient. He is like the military. There is no there's only one way in the military, and that's you win every time. And that's what Patrick Mahomes exemplifies on the field every week.
Hey, Rich, I got a question for you. Back in 1988, Neil Smith was the second overall draft pick, and there was a lot of hype for him in 1988, but he only totaled 2.5 sacks that year, and there was some concern. The team was you remember that team because you played on that team. There was some concern that could he have been a bust. Granted, Marty Schottenheimer came in the next year and they drafted Derek Thomas. Do you feel the same kind of pressure is on George Karlaftis as that we saw Neil Smith his rookie season in 1988?
Oh, there's a learning curve for any rookie who comes in the National Football League at any position, anywhere that you line up in the National Football League. Whatever you did in college, put it aside, lock it up, put it away, because it doesn't matter. You're playing against the best of the best in the nation. And so, there's a learning curve for everybody. There's going to be putting him in positions where he does good. And I think the young man has shown he's got a good bull rush. He'll continue to learn. They'll continue to find ways to put him in position to make plays. But even like Neil Smith came in, how to get stronger, how to get, learn different things, how to learn different game that, In college, you have to worry about it. In the National Football League, we got a thing, we allow holding. And so if you can't beat somebody holding you every play, you're not going to play. So it took Neal a while, but once he learned his game, what he needed to do and the level of performance you had to do week in and week out. And I think that's the biggest thing for the young guys. They don't understand that. Forget about the games. You got to go out there on Wednesdays and practice just like you're playing the game. And you got to do it week in and week out. And so that's the hardest part. And some guys learn it, some don't. And the ones who don't last very long in the National Football League.
Yeah, Michael, I wanted to go to you with this. We see the inactives for today. Nobody noteworthy on there unless you consider McCole Hardman noteworthy. I don't. Some others do. But there's also been reports out there that Kadarius Toney is first in line as Brian shakes his head at me calling out McCole Hardman when I don't need to. Just kind of some friendly fire here, unfriendly fire for me. But Kadarius Toney is first in line for punt returns. We saw out there today. That was kind of breaking news right before we went on. The next in line, Sky Moore and Justin Watson. So hopefully Toney stays healthy so Sky Moore doesn't get back there and muff another punt. But what do you think of what we're going to see from Kadarius Toney in the punt return game? They say he's also going to get more snaps in the offense.
No, I think you're going to see him doing a lot of the jet sweep stuff, maybe even some of the red zone stuff that they've been doing with McCole because it's been really working really well. So you have to use the type of agility and quickness that Kadarius has to get open. So, I'm excited to see that. Then I'm excited to see Sky Moore. Sky is going to get more of an opportunity, to get on the field and hopefully make some plays. We talked about the rookie Karlaftis, who we're looking more from. It's the same for Sky Moore. So hopefully both of those guys can fill in because I know you hate it, but McCole has been picking it up, Noah, and he's been doing some good things. So we're going to need somebody to replace some of the things that he's been doing. So I'm excited both ways, especially with Toney at punt returner, because, if he can make some plays back there, it's just going to add an element to the team that we've kind of been missing the entire year. So, it's going to be some exciting times today for Toney and Sky Moore.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns the past 2 games, and my man's still ain't satisfied. That's okay, Noah.
Third downs.
Yeah.
That's okay. Hey, Patrick didn't look at him again last game. Missed a wide open touchdown. Hey, be that as it may, the Chiefs will miss McCole Hardman, I think, a little bit today. Although Kadarius Toney, I don't think he knows the entire playbook yet. He probably knows, what he needs to know. I guess a good chunk of it. But that's my concern, man. You take away a big weapon in McCole. He's been the spark plug for the offense for the most part for the past couple of games. Noah, come on, Noah. He's had 3 touchdowns against the Niners. The last game without that McCole touchdown, what happens? Say what you want to say.
Else.
I'm just saying. Well, he didn't. And then you saw what happened. Okay,
Toney knows one play in the offense. He's going to run it better than McCole runs all the routes that he knows. So
I'm confident in that too. I'm confident in that too. But simply put, he's only been here 2 weeks. That's just not enough time. McCole's been here since 2019. So to me, I think the Chiefs will miss McCole a little bit today in some spots. Not to say that the offense will struggle, because I don't think that will be the case. I think the Jaguars are to be had. I think Andy Reid knows what he's doing on that end, and Eric Bieniemy, I'm sure he can draw things up. And I believe the run game will pick up. But I do think that in some spots, on maybe some 3rd and long sometimes, when maybe perhaps McCole can take you a screen that could get 20 yards or a jet sweep on a 2nd and long when the run game didn't work on first down. See, those are the kind of plays that you don't see those on the highlight reels, but those are things that keeps the chains moving, and you gotta pick it up on this Jaguars defense. This is a way to kind of maneuver how they did against the 49ers, because this is a fast and young team. They can get after it, but they're a little undisciplined. So, you keep those defensive ends at bay, just how we did with Nick Bosa against the 49ers.
And it's going to be a tough afternoon anyways. This is a 34 front for Jacksonville, and anytime you play a 30 front, got to handle nose tackle. So, begin with, just like you say, Brian, number one, listen, the O-line's going to be a better performance than what they did last week. We will miss McCole in one thing. I think he's found his niche in the short passing game. I don't think you're ever going to see him running the 7, the 8s, and the 9 routes. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think he's your swing pass guy. He's your jet sweep guy. He's your reverse guy. And that's where he's most comfortable, I think. That's where I think he does his best out there in the field. So we'll miss him on that. But, I think Andy's going to learn that going forward that his running game's not going to be what he thinks it is. I don't think he's got the horses that he thinks he's got. So this short passing game, quick throws that you saw in the first drive last week is what they're going to continue to be successful. I don't think they want Patrick to stand in the pocket. So a guy like McCole, yeah, you probably will miss him if this is the new tone or the new tenor or the new philosophy of this defense, is just getting the ball out quick and let's move the chains. Let's go in a hurry-up offense. Let's get things going, because the longer we stand and wait and try to let Patrick stand in the pocket, it's not a good picture for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, Shane's been championing it all week, guys. On our Arrowhead Allies show, Shane talked about, hey, is it time to give Ronald Jones a chance? It seems like that he's in the doghouse. It's never going to happen. What's going on with this player, Shane? You talked about it earlier in the week. Still not going to get our healthy dose that we've been looking for of Ronald Jones without McKinnon. What's this running game going to look like here today?
Well, if you're asking me, McKinnon is activated. We just saw that 30 minutes ago. So
okay.
I think
a shot. Yeah.
So since McKinnon is active, he went from full participant to limited participant at Friday. So we get to see how healthy he is because he is active. But, if you look at it in a landscape of Ronald Jones' career to any running back on the Chiefs, versus Clyde, versus a rookie in Pacheco, and versus McKinnon, you could say, well, he's better than those guys. But evidently in Andy Reid's offense, he's either not learned it or he's not practicing hard. What do you take of this, Rich? What do you think of the consistent Ronald Jones inactivity?
Well, I think maybe the first thing is they're not comfortable with him and catching the ball out of the backfield. I think that's the number one thing for Andy Reid's running backs. You've got to be able to now. Listen, McKinnon dropped the pass last week, but the ball was a little bit thrown behind him. Why? Because our left tackle's sitting in our quarterback's lap again. So hopefully there's some fundamental things that need to change up front that's going to allow our backs to get involved. But I think that's the number one thing for Andy Reid. I mean, if you're the running back, you have to be able to catch those swing passes, those angle passes, bubble screens. You've got to be able to do it. And that's what I hear. The young man's not really sure once he gets the ball and the reaction and everything. So maybe that's the reason why. But you know what? This season's so long. It's so long. We know that sooner or later we'll be looking for a running back somewhere because the injuries take place. So I think the more depth you have in this, eventually you'll get your time. You'll get your chance to play out there in the field right now. But, to me, the reason why I like McKinnon so much is I think he brings an attitude too. When they bring him in to run the football, things change. And sometimes it's a personality thing. But the young running back, he'll get his chance. He'll get his opportunities. Still a lot more you can go here in this season.
Hey, Rich, I got a question. Just when it comes to the running backs, I feel that, neither of the running backs can really get a rhythm. I've seen drives with Clyde to have a good drive and finish it with a touchdown score. Then the next drive, he's not on the field. So do you think maybe today that we might see two running backs play if they try to just have McKinnon there for emergency, that they kind of let Clyde and Pacheco do their things and that the guys can get a rhythm and put on a really good performance like we saw there in Tampa Bay when the Chiefs leaned on those two guys and they, pretty much dominated that game.
Controlled the line of scrimmage, able to operate and attack a defense from many different angles: sweep play, toss play, pitch play, counter play, outside zone. We hit it in many different ways. Haven't been able to put any consistency together in this run game the last couple of weeks. When you're getting -1 yard or the defense is playing on the offensive side of the ball, hard for any running back to really get in a rhythm and get things going. That's what I'm saying. I think Andy's got to look to get these running backs early into downs, first down there, get them up in the slot. Let's use the pass to set up the run. I don't think the run's going to set up the pass. I just don't think these guys overall, you can rely on your front five as somebody who's going to set the tempo coming out there being physically. I think this is going to be done by shifts, motions, personnel groupings, and getting mismatches. Then they'll eventually open up your running game. And that's the way going forward. I think that's the comfort level with these guys. And I think that's where the Chiefs are going to have their most success using that philosophy.
Yeah, and Brian, I want to go to you with the Chiefs defense and how they're going to attack this Jags offense. We know what they have on the outside: Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones Jr., Travis Etienne coming out of the backfield. Again, no Frank Clark for the Chiefs as he serves his second game of his 2-game suspension. So he'll be back after this for the Chargers game. But what do you make of this defensive front and just the defense as a whole attacking this Chargers offense?
Yeah, man. Travis Etienne is a problem. He's accounted for, I believe, 25% of their scrimmage yards, and he's the one that really gets them going. This is a Jaguars offense that ranks first in first downs, so they are able to move the ball. Now, where they struggle is in the red zone. Trevor Lawrence, he has a propensity to throw interceptions in that area, and it gets tight, man. And that's one game of Trevor Lawrence that he definitely needs to improve in, and I'm sure Doug Peterson has been on. But if the Chiefs can play maybe a bend but don't break type defense, that's what you can look for today, I would think, because they're going to move the ball. They're fast. They motion a lot. They move a lot of movement. So, you know, the Chiefs staff is familiar with Doug Peterson and his offense, and they can figure it out eventually. But the Jaguars are going to move the ball. It's just a matter of fact of will they score or not? Are they going to get threes or are they going to get sevens? And I will look for a bend but don't break, man. I would, and a good test for our cornerbacks too. I think with these fast receivers that Jaguars have.
Yeah, Christian Kirk will be a challenge for us on the outside. And there's Zay Jones too. Guy was with the Raiders last year, couldn't find a home there, and now down there with Doug Peterson. And the ball's out quick. I think the one thing you see with Trevor Lawrence is he's setting his feet better and delivering the ball with more authority, where last year it was not really setting your feet, not really sure. The ball wasn't coming out quite with the velocity. So, and even with Trevor Lawrence, I don't care. One thing we're going to have to, you got to keep this guy in the pocket now. I think you don't want to forget his Clemson days. He can tote the ball too on the outside and let it roll, man. So he's got some feet and some quickness. So it'll be a challenge for us up front, even on pass rush, that we stay in our lanes. Because you open up a crease for this guy, now I'm going to tell you what, man, there's some dirt coming off the back of his shoes when he's going down the field.
No, I agree.
Hey, Rich, I got a question for you. Brian brings up the point of the rookie cornerbacks. You know, the Chiefs haven't played 2 rookie cornerbacks consistently since 2008 when they played Brandon Carr and Brandon Flowers. You know, in 1992, when the Chiefs drafted Dale Carter in the first round, he got to learn from Albert Lewis and Kevin Ross. And going back to 1983 and 84, when Albert Lewis was a 3rd-round draft pick, and then Kevin Ross was a 7th-round draft pick out of Temple in 84, you know, those guys, along with Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr, got to get their feet wet. Do you worry? Are you at all concerned about with Steve Spagnuolo and these rookie cornerbacks and Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, and Trent McDuffie that they could hit a rookie wall in December and January when we need them the most, comparable to the rookies that you've got to watch play in a Chiefs uniform?
No, I think Joshua Williams is the one guy who's struggled a couple games and has slowly performed better and better. I think these rookie cornerbacks are doing better. And, you know, listen, it all begins up front too. We've got to continue to bring pressure. You know, no matter who you have back, you can have the best veterans in the world cornerback. If there's not being pressure on the quarterback, eventually they're going to find a crease. They're going to find a big way to give up, you know, find a big play. So I think the corner's doing better. I like what I see in terms of fundamentals. They're able to get their hands on receivers. And in the National Football League, it's the first thing you learn. If you can't reroute a receiver, you stand no chance. There is no way you're going to match foot speed or stay with them. You have to get your hands in there, get a shot on them, slow them up a little bit. So I like the Rooks, what they're doing. McDuffie doing a nice job out there on the outside. So I look for them to continue that. I just want to see up front against the run. Listen, Jaguars are 7th in the league in running the football now, and they can bring it. So we've struggled. I mean, first half last week against the Titans, why they ever went away from the zone read and just running power football, not quite sure. I think if Doug Peterson can do some things there, he's going to continue to pound the rock because he knows you just can't give Patrick 2nd and 3rd chances on the field. He's just too good. He'll make plays against you.
Yeah, and I think that has to be the focus today on defense, is really making it tough on Etienne because, you know, they're going to play through that guy. And, man, he's looking like a LaDainian Tomlinson light out there for them. So we know what he was doing to the Chiefs for years. So I think that the Chiefs, you know, up front with Kalen Sanders, who's playing so much
run
better.
fit.
Yeah, he's been
all
doing
about run fits today, guys. You can't
Yep.
miss with Travis Etienne. If you go back and watch him in college, his nimbleness and listen, we saw that with Henry last week. A couple of those runs, he was able to stop on a dime and cut back, make a little adjustment on his run, and find some big lanes. Travis is even better. And if you don't hit where you need to be and you can't get washed out, you got to maintain gap leverage and control today. If not, listen, this running game will get going for him and play action on top of it. So it'll be a challenge. Not only be physical, but be smart and where you need to be on the field. We did in the first half last week. We weren't very good. Second half, made some great adjustments and turned the tide of the game. So it's going to be a challenge for Chiefs defense. You know they're going to come at us immediately with some of that downhill, outside zone, something like that, some counters, some gap blocking. There'll be a challenge for us, but let's see if we can meet it head on immediately and not in the second half.
Noah, I kind of want to go to you and ask about just this Jaguars team overall. A team that started 2-1, had a blowout win over the Chargers early on. Then they kind of fell off the map, losing a game to the Broncos in London a couple weeks ago. They come back and fall down 17-0 to the Raiders last week, and it looks like they are on a collision course for being up for the first overall pick. They get a win last week. They get to 3-6. Technically only 2 games out in their division. So what do we make of where this team is? It feels like a team that has a lot of potential, a lot of offensive talent. They should, as they've been stockpiling top 5 picks for the last 5 years. But it seems like about a team that's a year away.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they get rid of Urban Meyer. They bring in Doug Peterson, someone who can steady the ship, tell them the right way to do things, and just be that calming presence on the sideline all the way through the week in the meeting rooms. We heard Urban Meyer just lying and players in the meeting rooms like fact checking, and that's a lie. What does he do? What's he saying? What? He didn't do that in his college career or in his NFL. Like what? And then we had the incident with him that ultimately got him fired in a bar and a younger woman, and just the things he was doing with to the players and in the meeting rooms and the practices. So Doug Peterson is a calming, steady force for them. But yeah, they are a year away. They're trying to find themselves. What do they still need? What are they good at? What can they just hang their hats on? And they've kind of found it in Travis Etienne. They've got these skill guys on the outside. Trevor Lawrence is becoming a more consistent quarterback week in and week out. He's still got his ups and downs, but they come to the friendly confines of Arrowhead Stadium. These games are a little too close for comfort here. Chiefs only scoring about 24.5 points per game at home. It's crazy. It's maddening because they get down by double digits most times, and then they've got to fight their ways back. But Brian, I want to go to you because if this is going to be a close game like our home games are, we're going to have to rely on Harrison Butker, who came out this week, says his ankle, he's still kind of dealing with that. He's taking a shorter approach on kickoffs, 5 yards instead of 10 yards to kind of lessen the impact on his ankle. He said he doesn't need to kick it through the upright, so he can just take that 5-yard approach on kickoffs instead of the 10. What do we make of this Harrison Butker situation? Are we going to have a kicker problem eventually?
I think it's an issue right now with this injury because it's cost the Chiefs. I want to stay strategically in some games. Like the score changes when Harrison, or not the score, the strategy changes when Harrison Butker is in that game and he misses. So if he misses a field goal and the Chiefs are down, let's see, 7-3 instead of 7-0. So now the strategy changes on offense. Everything changes when you play call, when you don't have the extra points being made. So now you got to go for 2 in some cases. So it's a bigger deal than what some folks think with Harrison Butker being out. Hopefully he'll get healthier as the season moves on, but it really affects your play calling. In my opinion, when he misses certain extra points or field goals in certain situations, it changes the dynamic of the game because the Chiefs can really press the gas if he were to make some of those points.
We saw that.
We got a comment here. Hold on, Michael. We got a comment here I want to go to from Jeremy Green.
What's up, Jeremy Green?
Just started talking in my pocket, and that's how I just found you guys. Thank the YouTube algorithms. He must be at Arrowhead or getting ready, got his Arrowhead pregame friends over and just said, man, I wish there was a Chiefs pregame show. Siri popped up, took him to YouTube, and our pregame show popped up. So welcome, Jeremy Green. Thanks.
Appreciate you, bro.
Welcome. Shax, you know you,
Shax. What's up, man?
He knows Shaggy, man. So shout out to Shaggy, man. He always works. Yeah. So people gonna find you, Shaggy. Keep doing your thing. But when it comes to the kicker, when it comes to Butker, yeah, it's really something that the Chiefs have to figure out. We lost Matthew Wright off to the practice squad, so if Butker has any more struggles, we just gonna have to stick with him. We saw earlier in the year against the Colts, that really cost us. The missed extra point, the missed field goal, it made, Andy Reid have to attack differently because he knew I don't have this guy that can go out and make a 50-yard field goal for me. So it's just something I think that we should really, look out for because, man, if he struggles, that hurts. We have a chance. Buffalo looks like, they're on that full strength, and we have a chance to get that home field again. So we need every point we can get from our kicker going forward.
Maybe Kadarius Toney can do some kicking for us. Who knows?
Very versatile.
Changes everything in the red zone now, doesn't it? I mean, you're going to take your fourth down. You got to take your opportunities now, and you're exactly right. I mean, with the kicker, it's limited on because of physical ailments and things like that, and it's hard to understand it. But you just think most of the time. I remember kickers really not doing much during practice, never really suffering extreme hits or any physical ailments. So you hope the young man comes through because just what he can do. I think, Michael, you make a good point. I mean, this guy, a 60-yard field goal is not out of his range. I mean, no matter what. I mean, he gives you that ability. And you talk about a 2-minute drive or just getting to the middle of the field, whatever. 2 or 3 plays, you're there, and this guy gives you an opportunity. So it will be a challenge for the Chiefs, but I think there's other things they need to worry about. I'm not going to worry about my kicker that much. There's some other things that need to step up and improve. This team was going to want to have a chance. Because, listen, the Chiefs are going to win these games during the regular season. They're going to come through with a winning record. But we all know when you go into playoffs, you take your season record and throw it out. Because everything now gets elevated. The speed, the tempo, the coaching, everything comes out. So the Chiefs right now have got some negatives that they need to get rid of because once you get the playoffs, I'm going to tell you what, they'll be home early if they continue to play they are right now in certain areas of this game.
Yeah, and a lot of us are stuck in freezing Kansas City, Missouri here. We got Michael out there in sunny Los Angeles, Hollywood, California. We've got 2 commenters here that are living well as well. Jeremy Green says he's watching in Honolulu. Tom Hood over here watching from Barbados. So I don't know where – a lot of us are doing something wrong because we're here in freezing Kansas City, Missouri.
Hey, guys, it's cold out here, 60 degrees, man. We're trying to
60 degrees in LA.
Oh, you can get the hell out of here
with
with
blanket.
Dude, those people will be rear-ending each other on the highways. It's going to get bad when it gets, especially if it's cloudy. God forbid any raindrops fall.
See, Michael, that's why Bill Parcells never wanted anybody from California. He said halfway through the season, California people had to retire. They couldn't take the cold, so he wanted everybody there. That's what he said. They all huddled together over there, probably got a heater on the field. So, dude, I'll tell you what, I'll drink from that California sunshine right now.
We got some great viewers here from all over the place, but guys, I hate to rush everything, but I got a Totino's pizza coming out of the oven here, and we got kickoff in 6 minutes. So
you need to treat yourself, bro.
Long morning. Rich, we got to get
to our keys.
We got to get to our keys here, Rich.
Yeah, guys, listen, I think we all know it. Same thing again. This week, O-line's got to show up better. I mean, the run game, that many negative runs, the mistakes they made, the fundamentals, some people that we expected to play at a higher level are not. And my quarterback is suffering for it right now. Number 15 found a way to just make something happen last week. Let's support him. And on the other side, you got a young quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. I don't care what anybody says. Bring the blitzes. There's nobody better than Spagnuolo in terms of timing these up, where the pressure comes from. Today's the day to go at him. And it can be on the rundowns too. Let's confuse them. Let's get him in 3rd and long situations. And guess what? We'll get our chance to create turnovers, get some extra drives for Patrick.
Yeah, bring the heat. Bring it.
You got to against a rookie.
Aggressive.
Yeah, young quarterback, and in terms of take away his reads and get his feet happy and things, and some good things can happen to defense in creating turnovers.
Yeah, and real quick, let's go around the horn, get our quick predictions out as we got about 4 minutes, although then there's some commercials. Kickoff's usually around 12:05, so we're a little bit safe here. But let's go quick, give our predictions. All started off 31-23, Chiefs 8-point victory. I'd like it to be more, but this is a home game, and we just can't ask for that. Not yet, not until they show me. We're in the show me state. They haven't shown me they can blow someone out at home. Hopefully it's today, but since they haven't shown me yet, I'm going 31-23 Chiefs. Clint, what say you?
Yeah, the average margin of victory, 2.3 points a game. I'm going to give us a little more than that. You gave us 7, or 8. My goodness. I like it to be, 24 to 19, some kind of a weird score. And until I see this team just have a party at Arrowhead Stadium, I'm not going to believe a party is possible out there until maybe the George Strait or Taylor Swift concert this April, man. I don't know. Shane.
I'm going to say Harrison Butker will miss an extra point, but he will come back and win the game on a 42-yard field goal, 30-28. That's how Harrison Butker's career is. He'll miss those extra points, but when you need him to kick a game winner, he'll get it, and that's what we'll get. 30-28 Chiefs. We say you be shining.
All right, yeah, I'll go next. Clint, stop eating them dollar store pizzas, man. That ain't good for you.
True.
I got Chiefs winning 30-16.
Oh, okay.
Michael.
You got a big game. I'm gonna go 31-27. I think it's gonna be, the AFC South, man. I don't know why they always give us such a tough game, but I think this is gonna be another tough game for the Chiefs, and they find a way late to bring home a victory. 31-27 Chiefs.
I'm going to go ahead with the Chiefs on this one, go 24-17. I think it's going to be a close one. As I said, it's a 30 front. Chiefs have struggled up front, and till those 5 guys up front start playing at a level that we're used to seeing, I think this is going to be a struggle week in and week out. But as long as you got number 15 on the field, folks, the guy is just uncanny in terms of finding a way to make a play in the toughest situations. That's what makes him the best in the National Football League right now.
Amen.
MVP,
Guys, enjoy
baby.
it. Enjoy it.
MVP.
We only get 17 of these a year. It's an NFL Sunday, guys. Enjoy it. Chiefs, Jaguars coming up here at the top of the hour. Hope everybody enjoyed Kingdom Kickoff. We had some really good feedback today from everyone watching from all around the world. Wow, I never thought I'd say that. Very cool. Guys, enjoy the game. Chiefs and Jaguars. Let's go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs!
Shout out to next week's sponsors, Totino's Pizza. Get your dollar store pizza wherever you go. Chiefs.